Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today in the Ask SSM video series, I got a guy who emailed me and he wanted to know my opinion about his son getting a part-time job while he's in high school. The son is turning 16 later this month, and this guy thinks it's a good idea as a way for him to obviously save some money, have some responsibility, things like that. Good character building things, which he knows I agree with. However, his wife thinks that his son, really shouldn't have to do that right now because he's young and all that, and maybe could wait until after he's graduated high school on to college or something like that, and wants to hear my opinion. So I'm going to read through his quick thing here and get on with it because I think it's a very important topic. So he says here, hey SSM, I have a quick question for you. My son is turning 16 at the end of this month, February, and I think it's a very good idea that he gets a part-time job just to learn responsibility and save some cash and pay for bills like gas and insurance and things like that, as well as save up for school and pay for some of his own clothes. When I was young, I had a part-time job and it had no problem with me, but my wife, on the other hand, she thinks that he should be able to wait until after high school, and that right now he's still a little too young. What are your opinions on that, and what do you think I should do? Well, bro, I think that is a great question because I've talked about this before in other videos, how important it is for kids, boys and girls, goes both ways, isn't just young guys, to learn responsibility at an early age, as well as importance of money and saving money and paying for some bills and all that. And in my opinion, this is a big problem with a lot of the kids nowadays, given the fact that for the last 20 years ago, it seems like the trend has been that more and more, as I've observed from people I know and things like that with their kids, that the kids don't seem to have the jobs in high school like they did when I was growing up. And obviously when you were growing up. When I was a kid, when I turned 16, I had my license within 3 months because I'm born in the winter. My parents wanted to wait till the snow melted and the ice was gone. Got that license, and I had a part-time job working at Domino's Pizza during school in the summertime. And they wanted me to do it to obviously learn responsibility, to balance school as well as working, because that's what real life is going to be one day. They want me to make some money on my own because since I had a license, I obviously had to pay for my own insurance, so they wanted me to use that money to pay for that, as well as gas and spending money for a bunch of bullshit. And was the money big? No, because when I turned 16 in 1994, minimum wage in Pennsylvania, where I was living, was $4.25 an hour, and I got paid $4.50. Now, obviously, the cost of living was substantially less back then because we're going back to 28 years ago, but you get my point. But that money was used to take care of insurance. That money was used to take care of gas and little things here and there, and taught me that responsibility. And at the same time, I opened a bank account, and I had my old Mac card. Remember the blue Mac cards? I had a Mac card, and I had to balance the books, the checkbook, and learn how to write a check. Responsible things at 16 years old, okay? And that's something that's lacking in this generation now because these parents think, oh, I don't want the kids to, they're going to have to do that one day, so I want them to have fun when they're younger and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of parents don't want their kids to work during college. And I see this as a major problem why so many kids are so irresponsible because they haven't had to pay for anything. And they haven't learned that sense of responsibility and balance between work and school and your family and all that. And they also become very entitled, thinking they deserve this, they deserve that. So working those early years, even though it isn't a whole lot of money, let's be honest here, will do a lot of great things for your son. And in my opinion, will do a lot of great things for lots of kids out there. But parents that think it's a bad idea, they're just out of their damn minds. And a lot of times, it's the mothers that think this. Okay, I had a buddy growing up. All my friends, my gang of friends in high school, especially my senior year, we all had jobs. And we worked on typically Fridays and Saturdays. Some people on Sundays. And went to school. And a bunch of us did sports and all that. But the one friend, he didn't. Because his mother, of course, thought he could wait till longer after in college to get a job. And by the way, in college he didn't get a job either because he was a spoiled brat. And to no surprise, the rest of us were good with money, but he wasn't. And he never ever had any money to spend and do stuff with us, even though his mom and dad and grandma always gave him money because he pissed it away on bullshit. And so some of the guys, sometimes we just slip him $10 here just so he can come bowling with us or whatever, which he was a good guy at the time. but it was a mistake. And once we got to college, this kid still didn't have a job. And when he finally actually had to get jobs, he was always getting fired because he was just lazy and entitled. So I don't want your son to turn into like that, and I don't want all the other kids to turn in that way. So we need parents that are going to understand this and lay down the law and say, you're going to get a job, you're going to pay for some money, pay for some things, and so forth. And that's where it all starts, early on, because the longer you wait for the kids to start to actually taking on responsibility and things like that, the harder it's going to be the older they get. And we got a whole generation out there right now that are like this. I mean, it's ridiculous. I have one of my previous clients, she works in wealth management for a very large, well-known national bank, and she's one of these. She is a wealth manager, and you can't get her unless you have at least $1 million in account with her. She knows her shit. And she's 40 and I'm 44. And we were discussing this one day, and she said how the biggest issue she has with her clients is they want to pay for everything for their kids, in terms not just school, but everything. And they don't want their kids to have to work during high school or college. And she made it abundantly clear, like, look, I worked during high school, I worked during college, and I turned out just fine. So can they. And also, I got to wonder sometimes, it's almost like a status symbol for the parents, thinking that, well, my kid doesn't have to work or something like that. Or also the case that, I forgot what I was going to say there, but you get my point. So your son, absolutely tell your wife, you got to lay down the law, as I always encourage guys to do that are married here, that no, your son's getting a job, he's going to get his license, because a lot of kids nowadays also aren't in too much of a rush to get their license at 16 years old. I don't get it. Well, I do get it, because mom and dad drive them everywhere. And since a lot of other kids are like that, they don't care. So he gets his license at 16 years old. He learns to drive, because you know what? He should be able to go when you need him to go pick something up at the store or something like that. There's an idea. But he gets that license and he gets that job, and it doesn't have to be crazy. I mean, maybe during the school year, 10 to 12 hours a week. Not a whole lot, but enough to get some cash, some responsibility, and go from there. That's what I think. And obviously in the summertime, shit, he should be working full time. What the hell else is he going to do? Now, the only exception would be is if during the summertime, let's say he played football or soccer, typically in August, that's when they start the training for the fall sports. Then, of course, then he can scale back a bit because he's dedicated to that, because that could lead to a scholarship one day or a partial scholarship in college if he goes there. But aside from that, he needs to be working, because believe me, I fucking worked in the summertime as well, and it became more and more as time went on. And so you'd be doing your son a disservice in the future, because the last thing, guys, you want as parents. I'm not a parent, so I don't get what it's like to be a parent, but I was a child once. I was a teenager, and I get how it works. By not having your kid work, you're doing a disservice, not just to that kid down the road for helping learn that responsibility early on. You're doing a disservice to your future self, because that kid, it's possible, will become reliant on you way later than he should. So keep that in mind. And you're doing a disservice to society, because that's just one more kid not being responsible, and all the other kids are looking at him like, well, that's what such and such does, so therefore I don't need to have a job, I don't need to work, I don't need to be responsible. So you're doing a service by having your son do this, not only for him, your son, but for you and your wife, and for the whole, everybody out there. Because the pendulum has gone too far of this generation, that entitled and lazy and selfish and all that. Gotta swing it back, and I'm trying to do what I can here. And if it takes maybe you putting on this video for your wife and letting her see me say this, then by all means do it. She might be a little mad at you sharing your life with some dude on the internet, but if it helps, it helps. I'm assuming she's somewhat reasonable. And if she's not reasonable, then you maybe ought to question why you're still with her. But no, he gets that job. So guys, for you parents out there, the second your kid, daughter or son, I don't care what, is a legal age, they need to do something. And yeah, again, it ain't that much money, but at the end of the day, it will help very much, okay? I loved working when I was a kid. I had a sense of independence, and I was proud of making that $4.50 an hour for my first job. And by the way, later that summer, I only got part-time hours in the summer at Domino's, so I got a job at another pizza place for $5 an hour. So I was making more there. And then the next summer, I got a job working in a restaurant as a host, making $6.50 an hour. You see what I mean? And I gained a lot of, also aside from working on that job, I might add, I also learned how to deal with people and things like important skills needed in the workplace in the world. And so as I got different jobs as I got older through high school and college, I got paid more and more and more. And to the point that I was making, in 1997, at 19 years old, I was making $10 an hour for small town Pennsylvania, that was pretty darn good in 1997. And I had that throughout college, and I put that money away. I started investing in all that, and the rest is history. So have your kids work. Learn, let them use that as a good experience to help them grow up, because these kids need it. You, my friend, can help start that shift into things going back the way things used to be, when kids actually had some responsibility. They were a bunch of entitled little brats. So good luck with that. Make it happen. Don't take no for an answer with the wife. You run the show. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me think about this. Let me know what you think about this whole thing, kids working. Let me know, if you parents out there, if you have your kids working, tell this guy. Tell him that it can be done. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.